Hi, I'm Rick, and I have over 30 years experience as an engineer. I made the shift into cybersecurity and have created multiple businesses generating well over 8 figures. I created this channel to educate and help others take advantage of this transformational opportunity in cybersecurity. If this is of interest to you, then consider liking and subscribing. But for now, let's jump right into this video. A friend of mine recently asked me, Rick, if you had to get back into the field of cybersecurity this year, what would you do? And he said, well, I want to know specifically what are the couple of steps that you would do to break into the field of cybersecurity. So I thought it was a good question. I gave him an answer, and I thought that you all might be interested in my answer also. So the first thing that I would do is that I would pursue the Certified in Cybersecurity certification from IC Squared. Now, there are lots of other cybersecurity certifications out there, the Security Plus and the CISSP and others that are, good and well in and of themselves. But there's a specific reason why I recommended to my friend that he start with the Certified in Cybersecurity. And the reason is that it's part of a path to an internationally recognized certification that is really the premium certification in cybersecurity. So starting with this certified in cybersecurity, it's that first step towards this really premium certification. And that's why I've recommended this path. So it turns out that the certified in cybersecurity, it's really an entry level certification. That's great for people who want to change careers, or let's say that you're a recent college graduate, or you're an IT professional and you want to break into cybersecurity because you want to be able to make more money, you want to build up your skills, you want to build skills so that you can secure your future, then maybe this certified in cybersecurity is the step you should take. And it turns out it's the step I took when I got into cybersecurity. I took the Certified in Cybersecurity exam first. It was my first certification. So I'm not recommending some type of theory of how to get into cybersecurity. I'm giving you the path I went down, the journey that I traveled, and I know that it works. And so what it does is the Certified in Cybersecurity kind of builds your career path. What it does is it gives you credibility as a security personnel. So obviously, my friend's next question was, well, what's the exam like? And so I said, well, there's 5 domains that this exam covers. The first is security principles, basic ideas behind cybersecurity, like the CIA triad. The opposite of that, the DAD triad, the DAD triad, the concepts of security controls, the concepts of there being frameworks that are followed in cybersecurity, and other fundamental items in cybersecurity like risk and other items like that. And then the second domain is business continuity, disaster recovery, and incident response. That's the second domain covered by the Certified in Cybersecurity. And then the third is access control concepts, which is actually pretty important. It goes into different like the RBAC and other types of security controls and access controls. And it turns out that that's really important, especially for companies that want to make sure that their data remains private. And so it's actually a building block, an important building block for later on for the next certification. Like I said, there's this path that I'm recommending here. The next domain is network security, and the last is security operations. It turns out that the Certified in Cybersecurity exam is 2 hours long. It has 100 questions, and you have to get a 70% to pass the exam. And what's something interesting about this exam is that it's computer adaptive testing, which means that from one question to the next, the computer is making a decision based upon your prior answers what the current question is going to be. So after you answered a couple of questions, the system starts to build up this estimate of where it needs to test you to make sure that you understand the various domains. And so it will adapt. And it's interesting. When I took the exam, it was almost as if when I missed a particular question in an area, it seemed, or when I thought I missed a question on a particular domain, it's as if the system went through and gave me more questions in that domain. So, so that's what the computerized adaptive testing really means. It adapts to you and to the goals of the test and testing the various domains. So I hope that provides you a little bit of what I would do as a first step is I would study to pass that certified in cybersecurity certification by IC squared. It's one of the certifications offered by IC squared. So now let's go to the next thing that I would recommend. The second thing that I would recommend is immersing yourself in the field of cybersecurity. And what I mean by that is begin to consume some information and news via, let's say, YouTube channels like subscribing to my channel, or other outlets like the Hacker News is a good outlet for getting up-to-date news. It's a pretty high volume and updated pretty regularly. And Security Week is another resource that you can go to get information on cybersecurity. And here's the reason why. You're going to be able to catch the language of cybersecurity, the terms that are used. You're going to hear things that you don't understand. And guess what? You're going to, if you're aggressive about this and you're really interested, you're going to look those things up and you're going to try to learn what's being described or what's being said. And learning the language is part of the learning process when you're trying to learn something new. And for those of you who are trying to learn cybersecurity, life has taught me something important. When I try to learn something new, at first it seems awkward and unfamiliar, by nature. If I was to go out and try to start to learn to play tennis, I wouldn't move my body right. I wouldn't be able to swing the rack correctly. I wouldn't be able to hit the ball in the right direction. It would be very awkward. But with practice and time and dedication and not giving up, I would learn tennis, right? I probably would never get any, very good at it. But the point is that at the beginning, it's awkward, and learning anything new is awkward at the beginning, and that's going to be true for your journey in cybersecurity. So I encourage you to not give up, pursue it, and consume as much information that you can, and look things up when you don't understand them, and be willing to put yourself out there a little bit and learning something, new things related to cybersecurity. So that's really the second thing that I would recommend. And the third thing that I would recommend, after you've really immersed yourself in that and you've got some experience in cybersecurity, maybe in your job or something along those lines, is I would pursue the CISSP certification. It's the Certified Information Systems Security Professional certification offered by ISC Squared. Now, this certification is the premium certification in cybersecurity. The most jobs that are offered in cybersecurity that are out there in cybersecurity are requiring the CISSP. In fact, CyberSeek is right now saying that there's about 82,000 jobs in the U.S. that require the CISSP certification, and that's the highest amongst the top 6 cybersecurity certifications. The most jobs are available are asking for people with this CISSP certification. So that alone is motivation. The other is that the pay is high. It's a senior certification, and it's very, very well respected in industry. So it has 8 domains. The first domain is security and risk management, and where you go through and you talk about risk processes, identifying the risks and mitigating risk, and and the whole cybersecurity process. The next is asset security, where we're not only required to protect the data and the information, but also the physical assets of the company. And the next is security architecture and engineering. How do we architect secure systems and engineer those to keep the information confidential, make sure that the integrity is maintained, and make sure that that it is the confidentiality is maintained in it, and that is also accessible and available when required by those who have authorization. That CIA triangle is part of what you work to achieve when you're architecting a system, is the balance of those three. And then communication and network security, identification and access management is a big part of the exam. And then security assessments and testing. How do you test that your systems are secure? And the next is security operations. And the last is software development security. So those are the 8 domains of the CISSP. And this exam is 3 hours long. And the number of questions vary between 100 and 150 questions. And as if you nail all of the questions, or a large percentage of them, then it'll stop the testing at about 100. At least that's what I'm told. When I took the CISSP, I had to take all 150 questions, and the passing rate is 70%. And it also uses computer adaptive testing, just like the CC does, so that the current test is based upon your answers to the previous questions, and more heavily weighted by the most recent question that you had answered. But it's adaptive in that sense. If you look in the description, I have a link to a resource that I think is going to be indispensable to you. It's the 11 essentials for passing the CISSP exam. And I recommend that you find that link, click on it, and get that resource. It's going to give you what I think are the 11 most important things for you to know to be able to pass the CISSP exam. And guess what? They're also the 11 things you need to know to pass the CC exam, the Certified in Cybersecurity exam. So if you're interested in passing that exam or studying for it, I would highly recommend that you download that also. Until next time, this is Dr. Rick Sturdivant with Rick Talks Tech.